Good morning, Burbs. My name is Azalera, and it's time to do some math. Well, just a little bit, okay? A lot of you have been asking me recently, like, hey RC, how do I efficiently grind our weapons? Or something like, man, it's so expensive to grind a 4-star, or like, I don't know if I should choose like to do a 3-star or a 4-star, like, what's the exact difference between a 3-star and a 4-star in performance, and how much it costs, and all that. So because of that, there's going to be a little bit of timestamps here and there in the video, so check out the section that you need to. But I will say that the results may surprise you for some of these things. So let's get started with the grinding process. After a pretty long experimentation phase with a lot of my teammates, we kind of finalized this chart of like the math behind how everything is grinded, how much meseta it costs to do things here and there, which I'll leave in the description below if you want to check that out. But we're not going to go into super maths, but instead I'm going to tell you that the most efficient way in general to grind a 4-star weapon, and to an extension to the 3-star weapons as well, is literally using plus 20 silver prim swords. Silver prim swords drops from, well, silvered enemies, which can appear in PSE bursts or just randomly around the field. They come with this special ability on the weapon that effectively just gives 400 grind EXP when used as an enhancement material. So whenever you use the silver sword normally on any other weapon, you would get 200 EXP of the base 2-star weapon, plus the extra 400 EXP, for a total of exactly 600. Which is exactly the same amount of EXP, by the way, if you would use a 4-star weapon as grind fodder. That's exactly how valuable this is. But what makes it so special for the silver prim is that normally when you grind weapons with the same name, they give you an extra 50% in bonus EXP. So for example here, if you're using a 2-star weapon with the same name, you will get an extra 50%, so you get 300 EXP instead of 200 EXP of a base. Which for some reason, the extra 400 EXP from the silver prim's ability actually also gets this bonus, which means that if you use a silver prim into another silver prim, you will be getting exactly 900 EXP per one grind. And using exactly 5 of these silver prims into each other actually adds up to 4,500 EXP, which exactly levels a 2-star weapon from plus 0 to plus 20 exactly with no EXP wasted. In any other normal case, to get 4,500 EXP on a 2-star weapon, you would literally need to do 15 grinds of the exact same duplicate weapon. And then each grind would also cost 2,000 meseta. And so why exactly is this worth? Because using these silver prims to grind your 4-stars is actually, if not the most realistic method. The next best way to grind your 4-stars efficiently is literally to get 39 of the exact same weapon duplicates to get plus 40. And well, you can probably imagine the nightmare of buying 39 of the exact same 4-star weapon either from the player market or getting it as a drop. But with the silver prim sword method, you only need exactly 12 plus 20 grinded silver prims, plus one more ungrinded and any other like random 3-star weapon, which will cost you a total of 176,000 meseta and using exactly 74 grinders. And this whole calculation of the price, by the way, only assumes that you do not buy anything. So this is just the grind cost of like all the natural resources and everything. But even then, assuming you bought all your silver swords, which is like around, what, 60 or so? Here in JP at least, they cost 1,000 meseta each, and then they last for like pages, basically unlimited stock. So I'll just assume 1,000, so that's like 60,000 more meseta. So you know what? It's actually a lot easier than you think it is. So to recap, exactly all you need is 12 silver prim swords at plus 20 grind, and then either 1 silver prim sword at plus 6, which well is 2 copies, or 1 silver prim sword with any 3-star weapon, or maybe even 2-star. So if you're a patient grinder of the game, it's actually quite easy for you to grind these plus 40 4-star weapons with ease, and you don't have to spend that much resources. And even if you're going to buy the silver prim swords, it actually doesn't even cost that much. But I swear to God, I really hope that this video really doesn't like crash the market though. I'm so sorry if it does. A lot of you also may still have this question as well, but RC, why do you not use the gold swords instead? Isn't gold better EXP? And yes, while you can do basically the same thing with the gold swords as well, there's a little bit of caveats here. So number one, you can actually trade the gold prim swords for ability success rates, which can be really useful for later on. And number two, the fact that gold swords are just much more rare than silver swords. So using silver prim swords is exactly the most efficient way to level up your 4-star weapons. Oh, and one more thing by the way, Farming for silvers is actually pretty good because it gives you time to farm for these fix-it abilities as well, which looking toward the future might be something you want to hunt for. A little bit depending on whether you're like super hardcore into gearing or not. And what these are is just the orange text things that are on your weapons, and they come completely RNG from drops, by the way, so like you can't like exactly get them normally. You just have to pray that the weapon drops with the fix-it abilities. And just because we're not in super like a huge hurry to gear, I'd say farming the fix-it abilities are actually very worth it. And what do they do? Basically they add like an extra augment to your weapon, but they can give anything on the lines of like extra just like flat damage, they can give you critical rate, they can give you critical damage, and they're just something that you want to have more than not if you can get it. But if you can't, that's completely understandable because they can be really hard to access sometimes. So now that we know about how to grind the 4 stars and all this stuff, let's actually take a look if grinding a 4 star is worth it compared to the other 2 or 3 star weapons. So what I'm going to be showing to you on screen here is a chart originally made by LycoPSO2 on Twitter. I'll be linking the original post down in the description below. But what they essentially did here is comparing just about every single weapon to, well, a plus 40 resurge weapon. You can feel free to pause the video and just like take a look at the chart and whatnot. But what I want you to look at is really just the red column just to see the average performances of each of these weapons. Specifically, I want you to see that the 3 star and like even the 2 star and the 1 star differences compared to the 4 star weapons isn't even like that big. Especially when you factor in the cost and accessibility of these weapons to some people. I want to make this point just to really say that, you know, even when like 5 stars come out in the future, it's not going to be a huge damage gap between the current 4 stars and then the next series of 5 stars if the trend continues this way. The only really like real big difference maker would be how cool the potentials of the 5 stars are going to be. Like for example, we have the 4 star Forces series, which has like the damage reduction shield and something like that. I believe that in my personal opinion, that's going to be like the primary factor of whether you're going to decide to grind like say in the future a 4 star weapon or a 5 star weapon. And of course, once again, accessibility is a very important thing. But yeah, I just feel like the damage difference between the rarities is just actually not that much, and just in general, you know, gearing should just be really comfortable for every player. Whether you're gonna try to reach for the highest possible point by like grinding all the fix-it abilities and just like hard fixing everything, or maybe if you're more on the casual side and want to take gearing at your own pace, I think that's perfectly fine as long as you're working towards a certain goal. And one more thing before I wrap up the video, here's a bit of a big tip for newer players when it comes to progression and gearing. While you save up the resources to grind for the game and then well, as you're starting off and you need to get to 1184 combat power to reach like the threshold to do the urgent quests and stuff, what I highly suggest you do is once you reach level 8, get your 3 star weapon of your choice and then more or less just grind it to plus 30. You need exactly 28 dupes of the 3 star of your choice, which the grind cost would be around 87,000, as grinding 3 stars costs 3,000 meseta per grind, and also for now and in the foreseeable future, 3 star weapons are practically just 1,000 on the market, so even if you're gonna buy all the fodders, you're buying just like 29 at best. So let's say worst case, even just spending 30k on buying all the fodders. And then even if all your grinding costs cost like up to 90,000, well, you're still not going to be spending over 120,000 on getting a 3 star weapon at plus 30. I think this is just a really good weapon to use and just grind for the silvers until you can get your 4 stars and everything. And the only reason I don't suggest getting your 3 stars to plus 40 cap, because 3 stars, well, have the plus 30 cap naturally, is only because for 3 stars, you have to limit break it for 120,000 meseta to have it be able to reach plus 40. And honestly, with that cost, you might as well just like, you know, grind yourself the silver swords and use it as like the grind cost for the 4 stars instead. Because you can trust me that for sure, the 3 star can hold its own for a good while. So yeah, that's about it. I just wanted to make this video to give all of you a bit of a perspective on like, you know, the easy method to grinding, how you can maybe like save your economy a bit, and then also just see for the future, you know, prepping all these silver weapons and your materials for future when 5 star or new weapons come in. So yeah, I really hope this video gives you some nice insights into just how gearing is in general and really just the truth behind it. And you know, It's a lot easier than a lot of us imagine, but the whole thing about it is just the fact that you have to be more patient in grinding the silver swords. Or well, just buying it off the market if you're really rich, I guess. So with that, take care of yourself everyone, and don't forget to smile! I'll see you in my next videos or live streams.